this is how we start. We are on our way to the archive. And the archive specialises in menswear clothing from historical to modern day garments. So I've got with me my coffee, that's to start with. That's the first thing I had in my hand before I left my house today. Got my laptop and everything else, like my lunch as well, to keep me energized and fueled for the rest of the day. So yeah, got this mic too because I thought I had a bit of professional equipment to it. So yeah, on the way. As I arrive to the archive, I unpack my bag and place out my laptop along with other resources like a few reference books and a measuring tape. I then went through the rails of garments that needed cataloguing and had the chance to finish off the leather biker jackets that I've been working on since last week. As a collections assistant, my main role is to write a real broad description on a garment, and that can be from describing the buttons and the zips. Then you can talk about the hem or how the edges are finished, even the top stitching, what kind of thread is used, just going into as much depth as possible so that if you would explain this to someone, they can already envision exactly what you're talking about. This leather bike jacket is from a brand called Marishin, and I believe this was from the 90s or early 2000s. It was really hard to tell because there wasn't much information online that could give me those answers. But it's a really beautiful jacket and it has this large zigzag motif, applique work with green, purple and pink all combined. It's really beautiful, and it came with 4 other different biker jackets, also in leather, and yeah, it had a really interesting journey to getting to the archive, and that really stood out to me. That's something about archival clothing as well. I mean, I looked online, for something to be archival, it has to be more than 20 years old, which isn't that old considering that we have much more historical pieces in our archive. But to know that someone else has worn it, to know that it's come from a different place, it's so fascinating to me. Now, a book I'd recommend you guys to get your hands on is Fashionpedia. It is really, really useful, and it unpicks elements of garments, and that could be annotating various different types of lapels or sleeves, such as a raglan sleeve or a tulip sleeve. And then you can take that information and look online, look on YouTube, and look at how you can start to recreate some of these examples. But not only that, it goes on to analyze various different types of jackets, let's say like a trench coat or a biker jacket or a particular type of trousers. Another one, it's called Textilepedia. Now this goes on to annotating various different kinds of fibres, and it really go into depth, the natural fibres, then the synthetic, and how it is sourced from the raw material. It's really interesting because then you get to distinguish when you've got fabric beneath your hands and you're really trying to get a feel of what is this? Is this synthetic? Is this a mixture of various different things? It really gives you a rough idea of what you're looking at, so you can understand what's viscose, what's nylon, what's cotton, what's organic cotton. It's really, and I love this because they've scanned in a fusion of different fabrics, and it even gives you ideas when it comes to collaging in your portfolios, what you can do and how you can be creative. But definitely recommend.
I've just went outside to this really lovely garden part near my work, and I'm having something to eat whilst I'm resting also, and in the next few minutes I'm going to head back in and get on with some more work. But it's really nice because behind me there was some nice birds tweeting, and the sun's coming out also, which is really pleasant. So it's a really nice spot to just rest and get some food. So yeah.
I'm making sure that I'm doing extensive research on that particular collection so that I can understand the concept and the design process behind each garment. I hope that gave you a good insight into what a collections assistant can look like when you're working on a garment. Sometimes it can take you a few hours to really take your time and get that right information across, but it can be really interesting and fascinating to learn about fashion and fashion history as a whole.